Thank you.
Okay.
So yesterday we told you about an unusual case in Kansas. William Murata donated sperm to a lesbian couple, and he is now being told by the state to pay child support for the child that was born. This is despite agreements by all parties involved in the birth that Murata had no financial responsibility after his donation. Well, William Murata and his attorney, Ben Swinnen, they're both with us now. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
William, I want to start with you. Why did you respond to this ad? How did you find this in the first place?
Perusing Craigslist, just almost like window shopping, just looking around, and ran across an ad that was asking for a sperm donor.
And when
for whatever reason, intrigued my interest, answered the ad.
So you answered the ad, and you found out it was a lesbian couple who wanted to conceive. When you approached them, when did you find out there would be no doctor involved?
I didn't know that there was no doctor involved.
So from start to finish, until you got this information from the state, you did not know that no doctor had been involved with this conception?
Correct.
Ben, Williams signed a contract with the women. What is your argument for the legality of this contract? Was there an attorney involved with this?
There was no attorney involved in the contract at all. The main argument for the legality is that at the time this contract was entered into, there was no child, and the rights of the child were not bargained away. You cannot exist before conception. I think even the most conservative views would agree with that.
Was there money exchanged hands here? Were you paid,
Sorry?
William?
Yes.
How much?
I'm saying I didn't understand the question.
Were you paid for your donation?
Oh, no.
You were not paid. Okay. Do you believe this is politically motivated or financially motivated? Because we know that there was $6,000 of support from the state for this child, and we know that Kansas has now voted to outlaw same-sex marriage. I'll start with you, Ben. Is it political? Is it financial?
My understanding or my inference would be that there is a political motivation. We had sent a letter to the state outlining our position before they filed, and we didn't even get an answer. The state just went ahead and filed without even responding to our letter. So I'm inclined to believe that this is politically motivated. I've also had contact with prior senior members of the department, and it's my understanding there would have been a discretionary decision to be made to go ahead or not go ahead on this case. And in view of the millions of dollars that the state rightfully collects from biological fathers, this $6,000 looks so de minimis in that picture. And the cost to the state to bring this case far outweighs any benefit the state will get out.
But you do understand that this could be a precedent for men who are with women, maybe a one-night stand, that they can say, hey, she wanted a child, I offered my portion of the deal, I'm not really involved. I mean, this could be a precedent for that type of transaction.
I fully understand. It's just under the facts of this case, and we are very comfortable that we can provide evidence that the contract was entered into before any donation occurred. We are also very confident that we can demonstrate that the only donation was in a cup. That is an evidentiary issue. That is not a substantive issue.
And William, have you ever met this child?
My wife and I were at a local carnival a few months ago and crossed paths with Jennifer and the child, yes.
If you are found to have to, after this lawsuit or after this effort to get you to pay child support, you have to pay child support, will you then go after visitation rights and kind of fill out the role of a father?
No, because I'm not her parent. That's Jennifer and Angie.
Okay. Would you, knowing what you know now, do it again? Would you respond to the Craigslist ad?
Probably not.
Okay. William Murata and Ben Swinnen, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you for your interest, sir.
Let's get to the medical side of this story. Bring back our senior medical correspondent, Elizabeth Cohen. Elizabeth, this story has so many moving parts, so many unusual parts. We've heard from Mr. Murata. What is Kansas saying?
The state of Kansas says, legally speaking, he's the father. If they had gone through a doctor and a doctor had done the insemination, he'd be fine, because there would be documentation that he was a sperm donor. But they don't have that documentation from a physician. For all they know, Murata and the biological mom, were lovers, and that's how they conceived the child. They need that documentation, so they say, he's the dad, he ought to be paying up.
So we've got this document that was written up at the home. He went over and took his donation. How often does this happen? It seems really rare.
You know what? It's not as rare as you think. We were talking to a lawyer who specializes in reproductive rights, and she said she gets a lot of calls about this. And here's why. To do an artificial insemination with a doctor is about $3,000. Yeah. And it often doesn't work the first time. It often takes several tries. So $3,000, $6,000, $9,000, I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot cheaper to just get someone to come on over with their donation and then do it yourself at home.
And that's what happened here. He just walked over with his donation a few times, and
that's how we understand it. We don't know exactly what technique they used. I don't even want to go there. But there is a problem with DIY inseminations, because that sperm hasn't been tested for sexually transmitted diseases, hasn't been tested for genetic diseases that could be passed on to the child. I get why people do it themselves, but really, from a medical point of view, don't do it. Go to a doctor. And plus, you won't be asked to pay up 3 years later.
Yeah, good advice. All right, Elizabeth Cohen, thank you.
Thanks.
Patrick Dempsey must really